Good morning, Year 3, and welcome to our English lesson today. We're going to be looking at settings and events of our 13th Labour of Hercules that we're going to be writing later in the week. We're going to start off this morning with a spelling starter. These are spellings that use the or sound, and there's lots of different spellings that cover this sound. So the first one that you're going to do is short, next one court, naughty, and the last one quarter, all using those or sound. You're going to find and underline the spelling that makes that or sound. Then you're going to use look. So look at the word, cover it up, write it out, and then check that you spelt it correctly. And you could write that probably a good sort of 3 or 4 times along those lines, and then we'll be ready to move on. Okay, so you can pause the video now, and then we'll carry on in a moment. So that's fine, and we can carry on. If you are cool, if you've chosen a cool challenge this morning, we've got the or sound in these words. This is just simply the most common spelling for the or sound, and it's the OR letters, so it's using O and R, and so that it's t, or, n, torn. So you can look at those words, say the sounds and read them. Then you can look at them, cover them up, write them out, and check the spellings afterwards. We've got the second one is or, n, horn. Next one, st, or, m, storm. Okay, so try those ones and practice those spellings, and be ready to start the video back up again when you're finished. Brilliant. So we're going to be looking at these settings today that the 13th Labour happens in. Now we know that it's happening in ancient Greece, and so we know that it's a very mountainous area. We know it can get very hot. We know it can be quite luxurious at times. We know it can be, there's lots of water, there's lots of oceans around, lots of coastline. So you can think about those when you're writing your settings. And we're going to be collecting some descriptive words for these settings, so that when you come to writing on Thursday, you have some really good language to use, and it will support your learning. Okay, so what we're looking for today is we're thinking about the where this is happening in the story. Okay, so it's not really what's happening, or we'll be looking a little bit of the events, but it's the places that it's happening. And you can see these 2 pictures already, somewhere where it's really dry, the earth is cracked. He might be going on a long journey to get there, because don't forget, these were challenging labours. They were challenging tasks that he was set. They didn't really want him to survive them, and he might have had to trudge along a mountainside. He might have really struggled to get where he needed to go to fight this amazingly strange, cruel and nasty beast that you've made. And there's some brilliant examples of those. So the setting pictures are here today to help build our ideas for this journey that he's going to take, and it will be one of them will be the place that you're going to have your final meeting and battle place with the beast that you've made and you thought of. So you're going to choose a main place where he'll encounter your mythical creature, and he will there overcome it, hopefully. That would be a great one. If he doesn't win, then the 13th Labour means that his myth hasn't worked. So we must make sure that he wins at the end of it. And you can describe the places that he goes through. So he might have to, he might go through the paradise of the beach to get to the mountains beyond. I think this particular setting on here is a really nice one, this blue one, because you've got a real mix of the beauty of that you can describe of the island or the place that he's walking through in Greece, and the sound of the sea, and and the beauty of it compared to what he's going to go through. So that might be a nice, what they call a contrast. So you might have a nice, against the nastiness that he's going to encounter, it might be the lovely part of the story that you can really describe. And then you might even want him to go and visit a temple on the way. This is a Greek temple. The Greeks were had lots of different gods, as we know, and they were a very religious bunch, and they would pray to the gods before they encountered anything. If anything in their lives, they would go and have a quick prayer just to give themselves that support. And you might, have him having, might even engage with his beast around the columns of a temple. It doesn't have to be in a cave, it can be wherever you like. This might be on the journey, okay, or it might be the final place. So last week in our spelling and grammar, we looked at prepositions. That was we looked at so the places and time that can be put into sentences and into writing to really give our reader a great understanding, a bit more depth to our settings, particularly settings. And in this, it could be really good because you could hear something inside, and that's a great a preposition. He might be standing outside of a cave or a place and be listening inside to what's going on before he gets there. It's a way of building up tension. He might go across something. He might look down below. He might be walking towards. So these are really, really useful to have a look at and see if you can put some of these into your plan today, into your ideas, not your plan, sorry, into your ideas, your descriptive ideas. Can you include them? That's your preposition today. So here's another temple on the way, or another building that's looking amazing with these huge columns, lovely bit of water around it. You could imagine a fight going on around here, or just that he's relaxing on the way before he gets to his monster, and he might be taking 5 just to get himself built up for that epic battle that he's going to have. So you're going to choose 2 main settings today, and you're going to write descriptive words and phrases around them. So you can cut those out and stick them in your book. You don't have to do the whole lot. You can cut the pictures off from the bottom of your starter, and then you can choose whichever ones you want to do. It's entirely up to you. There are some quite meaty ones here at the end. I think these would be really good sort of beastly lair that he might live in, and it might be at the bottom of a mountain or in the cliffs of the sea, or near the coastline. And this is a great picture here because you can see down into this sort of cavern. You've got this like beach area, which would be great for a fight, wouldn't it? Splashing in and out of the water as well. Or he might go right down inside and find this cave area, and you can imagine describing these the slipperiness of the rocks and the roughness, and maybe the smell in there. Maybe it's filled with bits of bone and flesh that's rotted, that this beast has caught beforehand. I know some of you get quite gruesome with this as well, which would be cool. Nice part of this would be to use your senses, so not just what you can see, but using all your senses. I mean, sight is a brilliant one to describe what you can see, but also you might think about the feeling of it, the slipperiness underfoot. Maybe it could be the feeling of coldness as he goes in temperature. As he goes in from outside, it could be a steamy feeling. It could be that it feels really really oppressive and heavy in there. The air could feel heavy and full of doom. So we've talked about what you can see and describe. What you might hear. You might hear echoing. You might hear the sound of the ocean, or maybe the sound of screams, or of things that maybe are not quite dead in there. That'd be grim. Taste. You can taste salt. If you're near the sea, you can taste salt in the air, or you can you get a sort of, it's not really a huge one for this. Smell would definitely be. That would be a great one to use. So you're going to use these setting pictures, cut out and generate your descriptions around the outside of them. I think this is quite a nice activity today. You can also think of your story mounting. We're going to be producing one of these for our whole, our part of the story, our part of the 13th Labour tomorrow. So don't worry about making one of these today. We're not expecting you to do that. But there's possibilities in a story mountain to just bring your ideas of which setting you want to do. So you might not want to just do the one where you're describing where he's having the battle with your the massive fight with your beast. It could be that maybe you're setting the story up. It might be talking to King Uri in the palace, maybe somewhere on his journey. So on here I've put the bold part. The bold bit is the possibility of you linking it to a setting. So you might want to put that around your description. Not expecting you to write it all out. Don't want a whole written one. This is about you making really good notes that you can use tomorrow for your ideas for your plan, and on Thursday for when you're writing up your story, your labour. Okay. So is there a jump scare coming up? Could there be a strange noise, something that you might hear in that setting? Obviously we've got the events of the problem and the challenge and that fight, that battle. Where's that part happening? So it's, you know, it's having that build up as well. Then you might have the journey back to the palace. Okay, that might be a really hard journey. It might be you know, might be the bit that he really struggles with. Maybe he's been injured on the way. So your must, should, could and might today. Just to finish off, you must choose and write notes to describe 2 of the settings. Okay, you don't have to choose when they're going to be used, but really good description on 2. You should use your senses to bring your description to life for your reader. You're remembering that you're pulling out those really exciting descriptive words, really good adjectives, perhaps a simile in there as well. You could include prepositions to help describe the place and maybe the time. And you might link those events, the main events, to the settings that you described. Okay, but you don't have to do all of those. You can, as long as you do the must, then you can pick and choose the rest. You don't have to do them in order. Just challenge yourself to do another little bit. Okay, and this finally is a picture of a copy of the printout that you can use today in case you haven't got a printout. You can pause the video and have a look at those settings. If you can't, you know, you can draw them. If you haven't got a printer, it's not a problem. It's more about the description. Okay, so go well with that today, and that's it from me. Okay, see you soon. Bye now.